Hello, my name is Jeff Rolka. I want to thank you for checking out my video. Normally, I'm doing videos on singing technique and how to work on your voice. However, I got a lot of questions about recording and recording equipment and studio stuff, and so I thought I would do a little spin-off where I would show you some of the equipment that I have accumulated over the years and stuff like that, with the idea that it has never been a better time to be an independent artist making your music and making it at a very high quality and getting it out there. All the stuff in this video is mine. I bought it. I don't have any endorsements. I have zero sponsorships. No one is paying me for my opinion on this, and the opinions expressed in this video are mine and mine alone unless you share them with me. But of course you may disagree, and that is fine too. When it comes to vocal microphones, you're bound to disagree with me because every voice is a little bit different, and that's why we have all these different microphones. And I wish I had more to show you, but I've got four, let's call it 3.5. I've got 3.5, you'll see what I mean by that in just a moment. I've got 3.5 stage microphones to show you. I decided that I would hold these microphones while doing this because it's quite possible that you may in fact be holding the microphone when you use it. And it's nice to know how much hand noise you get from it. Now, if I'm going to hold my microphone, I'll usually hook the cable around like that just to avoid inadvertently unplugging it on stage, though these all have clips, so the XLR cable typically won't come unclipped. This is a Shure SM58. It has a dented wind grill like most of them do. Kind of see that there. And you are hearing me through this microphone through a Neve Portico 5012. I'm going to try and keep the levels as even as I possibly can throughout this video. Please forgive me if they're ever so slightly different. This is probably the most common stage microphone that you're likely to come across. They are built like tanks. I have played at clubs where I have used these microphones that they stank of beer and mouth funk from 30 years, and they still came through the PA just fine and appeared to be in working order. I have used those that rattled and sounded as if they were broken, and they worked just fine. There's a couple nice things about this technology. One, it's older technology, it's tried and true. If you take it to a random club, your sound guy will know exactly what to do. I didn't even mean that to rhyme, but it's just nice that it worked out that way. On the other hand, it is old technology, and so it doesn't really take advantage of a lot of the advances that have been made in microphones over the decades. That being said, they're inexpensive, they sound good. You can use them when you're doing a live show. You could even use them in the studio, probably not as your main vocal mic, though there are those who would insist that that is in fact perfectly fine too. So SM58, inexpensive, good overall choice. You probably can't go wrong with one of these, and really we should probably all have one just in case as far as that goes. So let's move on. Right, so I mentioned that I had 3.5 to show you. This is an SM57. And I used one of these once on stage, and I've used it a couple times in the studio for sort of affected vocals, but not as a main vocal mic. Not really, in my opinion, not a serious choice as a vocal microphone, but people have used them in the past, and it is in fact possible to do so. However, I would approach with caution on this one. Like the SM58, it's older technology. It's worth having these around because they're useful for a variety of other things, such as guitar cabinets and snare drums especially. As your main stage vocal mic, if the 58 is really, really close, but not quite, and you need to stay in that price bracket, try one of these. It's quite likely that it may suit you really well. And with the addition of maybe a foam pop filter or something like that would really be quite satisfactory. But like I said, 3.5 mics, not really what I would suggest only in the event that the 58's really not working out for you, but you've got to stay right there in that price bracket. This is an Audax OM6. I used this microphone as my main stage vocal mic for quite a long time, and if I need to run my vocals through some outboard effects processing before going to either the board or my combo amp that I use for acoustic gigs, then I would use this microphone. It has neodymium magnets, which means that compared to the 58, it has an overall higher output. It has a wider frequency response, meaning that it will treat the higher overtones, the partials that are in my voice, a little bit more favorably than the 58 might. All in all, a very good microphone. Kind of a bit more expensive than the SM58, and in the long run, not necessarily my favorite vocal microphone that I've used. I've really liked the Sennheiser E935s, but unfortunately I don't have one of those to show you. I use those just in a gig capacity on a repeated basis for a long time. This microphone has a few variants, the OM5s and the OM7s, which are worth looking into. If you tried one of these out and it was really close and you wanted to stay in the Audax family, the OM7 or the OM5 might be more suitable for your voice. This microphone has a narrower pickup pattern than the SM58, meaning it's going to have more stage rejection. It's also very useful for using in-ear monitors. In general, a really good microphone, and probably a little bit less expensive than you would expect to pay for a microphone with neodymium magnets. The Shure Beta 58s are perhaps more well-known in this regard, but the Audax name means that you're probably going to pay a little bit less and still get a very high-quality microphone. So, Audax OM6. The Neumann KMS105. This is the vocal microphone that I really like to use. Basically, once I got this mic, everything else kind of paled in comparison. And that's probably why I gave a little bit of a lukewarm response on the OM6. I loved the OM6 for a long time. And then I started hearing these microphones and seeing people use them. I tried it out, and it was unlike any kind of stage microphone experience that I'd ever have. They have a very tight pickup pattern, making them ideal for use in loud environments or with in-ear monitors. It does require phantom power, but most mixing consoles and combo amps will have at least one channel of phantom power, so that's not a huge deal, but it is worth considering if you regularly are playing venues or situations where phantom power is not available to you. Would this be the first vocal mic I recommend to you if you haven't ever bought a stage vocal mic before? Probably not. It's kind of expensive as far as stage microphones go. In fact, it's quite expensive. It's an expensive microphone. But if it's right for your voice and you can afford it, it is well worth it. Before I had this microphone, I had a Shure 87A Beta. Never really worked great with my voice, but was so much better than everything else that I had had before it that it really stood out. When I finally made the investment in this microphone, I realized how different it sounded and the difference that this kind of microphone made. When things are working just right, you've got good monitors, and this microphone, it's like being in your own little oasis of musical loveliness. It's just the response of the microphone, the way that you can play it in terms of the proximity effect and being close and backing off of it. It's just lovely, and when it works with your voice, there's just simply no substitute. The downside is that it's quite expensive, so you have to consider that, but I think of these things as investments. So there's a Neumann KMS105. In summary, this is about your voice. This is going to be your vocal microphone that you are going to be presenting to your audience, to your fans. And it pays to take some time and consider which microphone is going to work best for you, for the styles that you sing, and for the type of voice that you have. If you have a lower kind of voice, then a different microphone is going to be a better selection for you than for someone who has a much higher voice. This is by no means a comprehensive list of all the different microphones that are available. Just in talking about these microphones, I've mentioned at least half a dozen others that you could try out if these aren't working for you. And that is the main thing that I would have you take away from this. In choosing your initial vocal microphone, or any vocal mic, whether it's your first one or your 50th, if you can try it out, if you can listen to some examples, if you could record yourself a little bit, maybe record yourself through a PA system and see how you like it. Have a bass line to compare it with. So record yourself singing a song with an SM58 and then try the KMS105 or the Sennheiser E935 or the fill in the blank of the microphone that you wish to try. There are lots of them out there because there are lots of different voices. And then come to your decision. And if that means having to wait a little bit to save a little bit of money to get it, so be it. You'll save money in the long run by choosing carefully the first time and then not having to buy another microphone 6 months or a year or however long down the road. Thank you so much for checking my video. I hope this helps. If you got questions, please drop them in the comment section or find me on Twitter. My name is Jeff. Take really good care of your voices, take good care of your gear, and we'll see you again. Bye.